Ladies and gentlemen, let's get one thing clear. Being a smart woman isn't about how many degrees you have or how flawlessly you handle life. It's about something far deeper. It's about the way you show up for yourself, the way you think, the choices you make, and the life you create that makes you proud. I want to share with you 7 key principles that define truly smart women. These principles don't just help you get by in life, they help you build confidence, earn respect, and create a life that is truly your own. The first thing you need to understand is that confidence is everything. But here's the reality. Confidence is not something you are simply born with. It is something you develop. Each time you stand up for yourself, each time you take action despite fear, and each time you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way, you are strengthening your confidence. The smartest women are not the ones who never experience self-doubt. They are the ones who refuse to let that doubt hold them back. The second principle: clearly. Instead, she takes a moment to pause, think, and respond with clarity instead of chaos. Leaders most function with intelligence and emotions, raise a number of impulses, active and institutions. Activity and response. Instead, she takes a moment to pause, think, and respond with clarity instead of chaos. She honors her instincts and apply them. She's stronger, smarter. Because of this, she earns respect wherever she goes. The third principle is something that too many women ignore. Financial independence is a must. If you want true freedom, you cannot rely on someone else to take care of you financially. You don't need to be extremely wealthy, but you do need to understand your money. Where is it going? How are you saving it? How are you investing it? A smart woman takes charge of her financial future because she knows that financial dependence limits her options. Next, let's talk about something that will transform your life once you master it: setting and enforcing boundaries. A smart woman is not a people pleaser. She doesn't say yes to everything. She doesn't let toxic people drain her energy, and she doesn't allow others to take advantage of her kindness. She knows her worth and isn't afraid to say no when something does not align with her values or her well-being. The moment you stop letting people cross your boundaries, you step into your power in a way that changes your life completely. And finally, the smartest women never stop learning. The world is constantly evolving, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. A smart woman reads, listens, asks questions, and remains open to new ideas. She does not let pride or ego block her growth. She adapts, adjusts, and continuously works on becoming the best version of herself. So here's the truth. Being a smart woman isn't about knowing everything. It's about choosing to build your confidence, mastering emotional intelligence, taking charge of your finances, setting strong boundaries, and committing to continuous learning. It's about believing that you are capable and deserving of creating a life you love. The decision is yours. Are you ready to become the smartest, strongest, and most unstoppable version of yourself? Because I promise you, she is already within you. It's time to let her out. Confidence is not about always feeling sure of yourself. It's about deciding that no matter what happens, you will figure it out. The smartest women don't wait until they feel ready. They take action first, and confidence follows. Each time you push forward despite fear and uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are capable. That is how confidence grows. Think about it. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Maybe you spoke up in a meeting, went somewhere alone, or made a decision that scared you. In that moment, you might have felt nervous, maybe even unprepared. But you did it anyway, and guess what? You survived. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but what you gained was more valuable than perfection. You gained proof that you can handle difficult things. That's confidence. Confidence is not a personality trait, it is a skill. And like any skill, it must be practiced. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that confidence comes after success. That's not how it works. Confidence comes from action, from showing up for yourself, from pushing beyond what you once thought you couldn't do. If you want to feel more confident, start by taking small risks every single day. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. It doesn't care about your dreams, your ambitions, or your potential. It simply wants to protect you from discomfort and uncertainty. That's why when you step outside your comfort zone, your mind fills with doubt. What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not good enough? But here's what smart women know. Those thoughts are not facts. They are just fear trying to keep you small. So what do? You push past that fear with action. You take that first step. And when your mind tries to hold you back, you remind yourself, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to begin. That's why confidence and courage go hand in hand. Confidence doesn't come first, courage does. Confidence is the reward for taking bold action. Let's talk about failure because it's one of the biggest things that stops women from feeling confident. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that failure is something to be ashamed of. That if you don't get it right the first time, you're not good enough. But the smartest women think differently. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of success. Every mistake, every setback, every rejection, it's all feedback. It's all information that helps you grow. Think about the most confident woman you know. She wasn't born that way. She has experienced setbacks, faced challenges, and doubted herself. But she kept going, she kept pushing. And with each challenge she overcame, she became stronger. That's what real confidence is. It's not about having no fear. It's about refusing to let fear control you. So how do you build this kind of confidence? You practice it daily. You speak up even when your voice shakes. You make decisions without over-explaining yourself. You take up space without apologizing. And most importantly, you stop waiting for permission. Confident women don't need approval to go after what they want. They trust themselves enough to take action. Another key to confidence: stop comparing yourself to others. The moment you start measuring your worth based on someone else's life, you give away your power. Smart women know that confidence comes from within, not from social media, not from approval, not from being better than someone else. It comes from knowing that you are enough just as you are. Confidence is not about always feeling great about yourself. It's about showing up, taking action, and proving to yourself that you are capable, even when you have doubts. Because each time you do something you once thought was impossible, you become stronger. And the stronger you become, the less fear holds you back. That's when you step into your full power. That's when you start living on your own terms. And that is when you truly become unstoppable. Smart women understand that boundaries are not barriers, they are guidelines for how they expect to be treated. They don't set boundaries to shut people out, but to protect their peace, their time, and their energy. Too often, women are taught to be people pleasers, to say yes when they mean no, to avoid confrontation, and to put others' needs first. But the reality is, if you don't set your own boundaries, others will set them for you. And that is how you end up drained, resentful, and exhausted. Boundaries are about respect, self-respect first. If you don't honor your own limits, you can't expect others to. Many women feel guilty about setting boundaries because they think it makes them selfish. But smart women know that boundaries are an act of self-care. They are a declaration of confidence. They say to the world, this is what I accept, and this is what I do not. So how do you begin setting boundaries? First, you need to be clear about what your limits are. What drains your energy? What makes you feel disrespected? What are you putting up with that you shouldn't be? If something makes you feel uneasy, exhausted, or taken for granted, that's a sign that a boundary needs to be established. The next step is to communicate those boundaries clearly and confidently. Wise women don't over-explain, apologize excessively, or feel the need to justify their choices. They simply say, I can't do that, or that doesn't work for me, or I need some time for myself. Notice that there's no lengthy excuse, no guilt-ridden explanation, just a direct and firm statement. And guess what? That is more than enough. The toughest part of setting boundaries isn't stating them, it's enforcing them. Because here's what will happen. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries will not be happy when you start setting them. They may try to guilt trip you, push back, or make you feel like you're in the wrong, but that is not a reason to back down. It's proof that you are doing exactly what you need to do. A wise woman knows that boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about managing herself. She doesn't set a boundary and then hope others respect it. She sets it and takes action if it is crossed. If someone constantly ignores your boundaries, you limit their access to you. If a friend keeps unloading their problems on you but never values your time, you stop answering every call. If a coworker keeps pushing extra work onto you, you start saying, that's not something I can take on right now. Let's talk about guilt, because it's the biggest reason many women struggle with boundaries. When you're used to putting everyone else first, choosing yourself will feel wrong at first. You might think you're being unkind or selfish. But let me remind you of something. Your needs matter. Your time matters. Your peace matters. And anyone who truly values you will respect the boundaries you set. The people who get upset about your boundaries are the ones who are benefiting from you having none. Here's the amazing part. When you start setting boundaries, your confidence grows. You stop feeling like a victim of other people's expectations and start taking control of your life. You feel lighter, you feel freer, and most importantly, you start attracting people who respect and appreciate you for who you truly are. In the end, boundaries teach people how to treat you. They are about saying, I matter. My needs are important, and I will not accept less than I deserve. Wise women don't wait for permission to set boundaries. They understand that protecting their energy is not just an option, it's essential. Confidence is not something you are born with. It's something you develop. Wise women know that confidence isn't just about how you look or speak, it's about how you carry yourself, how you trust yourself, and how you exist in the world without apologizing for it. The truth is, confidence isn't a feeling, it's a decision. It's choosing every single day to believe that you are worthy, capable, and enough, even when you don't feel like it. One of the biggest mistakes women make is waiting to feel confident before they take action. They think, I'll speak up in the meeting when I feel more prepared, or I'll pursue that opportunity when I feel ready. But here's what wise women know. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You build confidence by doing the thing that scares you over and over until it no longer does. Every time you show up, even when you're uncertain, even when your voice shakes, you prove to yourself that you are capable. That is how confidence is built. But let's address the biggest confidence killer, self-doubt. That little voice in your head that whispers, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough, or you'll embarrass yourself if you try. Self-doubt is a liar, and the only way to silence it is to stop listening and start acting in spite of it. When that voice says, you can't do this, you respond with, watch me. When it says, what if you fail? You say, then I'll learn and try again. Confidence also comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and follow through, you build trust in yourself. When you set a goal and take even the smallest step toward it, you prove to yourself that you can be relied on. That's why the most confident women don't just talk about what they're going to do, they actually do it. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for someone to tell them they're ready. and they certainly don't wait for approval. They take action, and through action, they create the confidence they once thought they needed to start. Another key to confidence, they stop seeking validation from others. The moment you start looking for approval, you hand over your power. Confidence is about knowing your worth, not because someone else tells you, but because you decide it for yourself. When you stop needing people to like you, when you stop trying to prove yourself to everyone around you, you free yourself. Because confidence isn't about being liked, it's about being respected. And respect begins with how you treat yourself. That means speaking up when something feels off. That means saying no to things that don't align with your values. That means walking away from situations and people that make you feel small. And most importantly, it means owning who you are, flaws and all, without apology. Confident women don't shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They don't dim their light so others can shine. They take up space, they use their voice, and they know their worth is not up for debate. Now, let's talk about body language. Confidence isn't just in your mind, it's in your posture. When you walk into a room, how you carry yourself speaks before you even say a word. Shoulders back, chin up, steady eye contact. You don't have to feel confident to look confident. And when you look confident, you start to feel it. Studies show that the way you hold yourself directly affects how you think and feel about yourself. So if you want to feel more powerful, start acting like you already are. And here's the final piece. Confident women understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every confident person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The difference? They don't let failure define them. They don't let it mean they're not good enough. They see it as proof that they are trying, learning, and growing. At the end of the day, confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you create. It's not about being fearless, it's about taking action despite your fears. And when you commit to that, when you stop letting doubt take control, when you start showing up as the woman you want to be every single day, that's when everything changes. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They are about protecting your energy, your time, and your well-being. Wise women understand that saying yes to everyone and everything is the quickest way to exhaustion and resentment. They know that boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. They are a statement of self-respect. And when you set them, you teach people how to treat you. The challenge is that many women have been conditioned to believe that setting boundaries makes them difficult, unkind, or unlikable. We are taught to be agreeable, to accommodate, to prioritize others before ourselves, and as a result, we end up drained, overcommitted, and frustrated, all because we are afraid of disappointing others. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying no to your priorities, no to your peace, no to the things that truly matter to you. And that's not strength. That's self-abandonment. Wise women understand that setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about taking control of themselves and their lives, and holding themselves responsible for honoring those choices. If something makes you uneasy, if something drains your energy, if something goes against your values, you have every right to set a limit. And the best part, you don't owe anyone a long, drawn-out explanation. No is a full sentence. The first step to establishing boundaries is recognizing where they are needed. Pay attention to the parts of your life where you feel resentment, frustration, or exhaustion. Those emotions are signals. They are telling you that something isn't right, that something needs to change. Maybe it's a friend who always takes but never gives. Maybe it's a family member who invades your personal space. Maybe it's a work obligation that is stealing your time. Whatever it may be, acknowledge it, because once you see it for what it is, you can start making a change. The second step is communication. People cannot respect boundaries they aren't aware of. Wise women don't expect others to just understand. They clearly express their needs. And they do it with confidence, not with anger, not with guilt, but with certainty and firmness. They don't say, I'm really sorry, but I just can't. They say, I feel bad, but I really need time for myself. They say, I need time for myself. Because when you set a boundary with hesitation, you leave room for discussion. When you establish it with confidence, you make it clear that it's non-negotiable. Now let's be honest, some people won't like your boundaries, and that's fine. The people who genuinely respect and care for you will honor them. The ones who get upset, those are the ones who benefited from you having none, and that's not your problem to solve. Your job is not to manage other people's reactions. Your job is to protect your own peace. And here's where most struggle: enforcing the boundary. Setting a boundary is one thing. Sticking to it when people test it is another. And they will test it. The moment you start saying no, the moment you start prioritizing yourself, some people will push back. They will guilt trip you. They will try to make you feel bad. They will try to convince you to return to your old ways. And this is the moment where you either hold the line or fold. Strong women hold the line. They do not bend just to make someone else comfortable. They know that every time they allow someone to cross a boundary, they are teaching them that it's acceptable to do so. And that's no longer an option. One of the most powerful things a woman can do is stand firm in her boundaries without apology. Because boundaries reflect self-worth. They say, I respect myself enough not to allow this. They say, I value my energy enough not to tolerate this. They say, I love myself enough to put myself first. And when you embrace that level of self-respect, you inspire other women to do the same. At the end of the day, boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about protecting what matters most: your time, your energy, your mental health, your peace. And the moment you master this, the moment you start enforcing your boundaries with confidence and without guilt, you will notice a shift. You will feel lighter, stronger, and more in control. You will no longer feel like a doormat, no longer feel drained, no longer feel like your life is dictated by what others want from you. The reality is, the most successful, fulfilled women are not the ones who do everything for everyone. They are the ones who know their limits, protect their peace, and refuse to betray themselves just to keep others happy. And if you want to step into that version of yourself, it starts with one thing: setting boundaries and never apologizing for it. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. It is a muscle that strengthens with use. Smart women understand that confidence is not about knowing everything or never feeling doubt. It's about taking action in spite of it. It's about showing up even when you don't feel ready. The truth is, no one ever feels 100% prepared all the time. If you wait for confidence before taking action, you'll be waiting forever. Confidence comes from doing, from taking risks, from proving to yourself that you are capable. Most people think confidence means being fearless. It doesn't. It means being willing to fail, willing to look foolish, willing to make mistakes. Every successful, powerful woman you admire has felt fear, has doubted herself, has battled imposter syndrome. The difference is, she didn't let those feelings stop her. She took action anyway. She stepped into the room. She spoke up. She made the decision. Confidence is built in those small moments where you choose courage over comfort. One of the biggest confidence killers is overthinking. Smart women know that overthinking is simply another form of self-doubt. It's a trap that keeps you stuck. You sit there analyzing every possible scenario, worrying about what others might think, convincing yourself that you're not good enough. And the longer you stay in that space, the harder it becomes to take action. The best way to stop overthinking: decide and move. Take action before your mind talks you out of it. The more you do this, the more you train yourself to trust your instincts. And that's where confidence grows, from self-trust. The way you carry yourself has a massive impact on your confidence. Your body language sends a message, not just to others, but to yourself. If you walk into a room with slumped shoulders, avoiding eye contact, and speaking softly, you are signaling to yourself that you don't belong. But if you stand tall, make eye contact, and speak clearly, you instantly feel more powerful. Research has proven that adopting confident body language, like standing with your shoulders back or using open gestures, actually shifts your brain chemistry, making you feel more in control. Smart women use this to their advantage. They don't just think confidence, they embody it. Another key element in building confidence is self-talk. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly. If you constantly say, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this," or "I always mess things up," your brain will find proof to support those beliefs. But if you start telling yourself, "I am capable, I will figure this out, and I belong here," your brain will begin to accept that as truth. Smart women are intentional with their inner dialogue. They don't allow negative self-talk to run unchecked. When a doubtful thought arises, they challenge it. They replace it with a stronger belief. They understand that the most important conversation they will ever have is the one they have with themselves. Failure is not the opposite of confidence. It is part of the journey. Every mistake, every rejection, every setback is a lesson. Smart women don't see failure as a sign to quit. They see it as feedback. They analyze what went wrong, adjust, and try again. The most confident women are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They don't dwell on their mistakes, they learn from them. They understand that confidence is not built by avoiding failure, it is built by pushing through it. Confidence is also about who you surround yourself with. If you spend time around people who constantly doubt you, put you down, or fail to believe in your potential, their negativity will seep into your mindset. Smart women are deliberate about who they allow into their circle. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, uplift them, and see their potential, even when they don't see it themselves. They don't waste energy trying to prove their worth to those who don't support them. Instead, they invest in relationships that strengthen their confidence rather than drain it. At the end of the day, confidence is a choice. It's not about waiting until you feel ready, waiting until you feel fearless, or waiting for someone to validate you. It's about deciding that you are enough, that you are worthy, and that you are capable. The smartest women know that confidence isn't something given, it's something taken. And the moment you claim it, everything changes.